If you are in the market for a new set of goggles, you are in luck because today we're going to show you our top 5 picks for 2021. All right, everyone, thanks for checking in. I am Chase, and if you are shopping for a new set of goggles, this video is just what the doctor ordered. I have 5 great options, our top 5 picks for 2021. I'm going to go through and talk about each one briefly and talk about some of the key reasons why we put it into our top 5. So if you see a couple of goggles that interest you after this video, go watch the product spotlights and learn more about those. Also, be sure to read rider reviews. And then you can see what riders are saying, what they like about these goggles, maybe what they dislike about those. That will give you some more information to help you out. I have ridden in every one of the goggles that is up here today, so I will give you some of my personal feedback as well as we go through and we talk about these. And real quick, before we start talking about them, we have our fit guarantee. No matter what goggle you buy from us here at Rocky Mountain, if you're not happy with how they fit, send it back in brand new, unused condition. We want to make sure you get the size of fit you're looking for, so we give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange. So to kick this off, first goggle that I have up here, and also keep in mind we are starting with your more budget-friendly options, and we're going to work our way up in price as we go through. The VSN. If you're on a budget, you're looking for a goggle sub 20 bucks that's got good features, this is the best goggle out there, hands down. Full retail, you're about $16, and here's what you get at that price. Triple layer face foam, which you typically don't see until you get to more high-end goggles. You've got silicone on the back of the strap to keep it in place. There's a few different color options to choose from. This goggle actually has a really good field of vision. In fact, the peripheral vision on this goggle is really, really good. I would put it up against any of the other goggles that we have on the table, no problem. So with that, that's what I love about this goggle, especially at that price point. Some of the things you do want to be aware of, though, is that one, it doesn't come with a goggle case, so you don't get a little bag to carry these. Also, you're just going to get clear options that come with the goggle, but there are tinted lenses available, and they're just a few bucks, really inexpensive. And the only other thing for me that's kind of a downer is that there are no laminated tear-offs for the VSN. You just have the standard tear-offs. I like to run laminated tear-offs, especially in, say, a race situation, so you're not going to be able to get those with the VSN. But again, you're sub 20 bucks, lots of great features, great vision. You can get different lenses for these and tear-offs, rock solid goggle. Moving on from there, you have the Scot Fury. So the Scot Fury is actually a pretty new goggle in Scot's lineup. And the reason I'm happy that they came out with this goggle is because they have the Prospect, which is their premium option. I've spent a lot of time in the Prospect, and for me, that goggle, and again, this is me personally, I just don't like the fit all that much. It's good face foam on the Prospect, but it just, the way it presses on my nose and pinches it, I'm just not a fan of. I could just never get myself to really like the fit of that goggle. The Fury, in my opinion, has a much better fit, also a lower price point. It's a good looking goggle, lots of good colorways to choose from, great peripheral vision, again, triple layer face foam. This goggle does come with standard tear-offs, but you can get laminated tear-offs for these as well. You're gonna get a lot more color options in the VSN, and you can get goggles that have a tinted lens, and if you do buy one that has a tinted lens, it will come with a clear lens also. But another reason that I like this goggle is that you have their lens lock technology, so it's a safety feature. You know, anytime you're riding a motorcycle, whether you're doing some trail riding, if you were to hit a tree, or if you're doing, you know, motocross or out in the desert, if a rock flies up and hits you with the goggle, you want that lens to stay intact to protect your eyes. So with this, you actually have 4 points on this goggle that lock the lens in place, so that if that were to happen, it's just adding some additional impact protection for the rider's eyes. Now, last thing I do want to mention with the Fury is one feature I love is that you'll notice that some of the options have an LS lens. It stands for light sensitive. I wish they had that lens for every goggle. And what I like about that lens is that it will go completely clear. If it's dark outside, if you're doing some nighttime riding, it's not going to be tinted, but once sunlight starts to hit it, it will automatically tint and it will adjust to the amount of light that's coming through it. One of my favorite lenses, and you can get that again with the Fury. Now moving on from the Fury, we have the Leatt Velocity 6.5. So you jump up in price between $80 and $90 for these, but here's what I like about the Velocity, and here's why we put it into our top 5. At that price range from about 80 to 90 bucks, there's a lot of premium features in here that you see in other goggles that cost more. First of all, you have an injection molded optically correct lens. First time that we're seeing this in this guide. What that means is that this lens, when you put it into the frame, it's already curved versus a regular Lexan lens like you have in the Fury or the VSN where you curve it when you put it into the goggle. So it means it doesn't distort your vision when you look through it. Some riders, it might not be a big deal. I've ridden them both. For me, it's not a deal breaker, but if you were to ask me, is there a difference? Can you see a difference when you look through an optically correct lens versus a standard? Yes, I think you can see a difference when you do, but like I said, to me, it's not a deal breaker. But here's some other features that I like about the 6.5. Their lens, it's bulletproof. They have a video where they actually shoot this with, I believe, a 22 caliber pistol. The bullet does not penetrate it, so if you're looking for great impact protection for your eyes, you're gonna get that with the 6.5. A lot of cool colorways to choose from. You've got an outrigger system on the 6.5. You know, the next 3 goggles you're gonna see do have that. That's a premium feature. That just helps give a little bit better seal against your face when you do have these inside the helmet. So you've got your outriggers. You've also got a good lens changing system on the 6.5. If you're a rider where every time you're about to go ride, you like to maybe swap the lens out or take the lens out to clean it, put it back in, and you like a goggle that's easy to do that, the 6.5 is a really good option. I think they did a good job with their lens changing system. Triple layer face foam, 50mm strap for riders that do like a wider strap. That's what you're getting with the 6.5. A lot of great colorways to choose from. And also, this is an Otg goggle, it stands for over the glasses. Now, I read reviews. I saw some riders talk about how these did not fit good with their glasses. I wanted to test that for myself. So I actually went around the office and I got 4 different pairs of glasses from 4 different people. I put them on and then I put the goggles on over top. Some of the glasses I think have fit really well. Some of the glasses not so much. It's really subjective to one, your face shape, but also, you know, the size or how your glasses fit as well. But that's why we have our fit guarantee. So if you don't like how it fits, again, you can send it back and exchange it just to make sure you are happy with the end result. So that's a 6.5. Also, they do have an anti-fog coating on the lens as well, just to combat fogging, which is nice. And the last little feature that I like about these is with the roll-off. So you can buy a 6.5 with a roll-off system already installed, or I think for about $40, you can buy just the roll-off canisters and install them onto your goggle. So if you ride in conditions where you like roll-offs, that's what you can get here with the 6.5. Moving on from there, we have the 100% Armega. Price on these, you're anywhere from $90 to about $120, depending on lens options. They have their hyper lens, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. Now, when I got to this price range, it was a tough decision because there's also the View from Fox Racing. And if you've watched, you know, my videos, I really like the View goggle. And the reason that we decided to go with the Armega is a couple reasons. One, this is by far one of the most popular premium goggles that is out there. You can't deny it. You've got a lot of top riders that you see every weekend that are rocking the Armega, but there's some other features that are pretty unique about this goggle. So first of all, with their lens system, you have a good lens changing system, just like with the 6.5. They have a 6-point contacting system. So in other words, when you put this lens in the goggle, it has 6 points where the frame is holding that lens in place. Again, you're talking about impact safety for your eyes. That's what you're getting here with the Armega. On top of that, again, you got a lot of different lens options to choose from. They have their hyper lens, which increases contrast. That's gonna be your premium option around that 120 price mark. The hyper lens is just to help increase that contrast, help you see the changes in the dirt, just to give you overall better vision. I've ridden in the hyper lens and just the regular tinted lens. For me, it wasn't a big noticeable difference, but for some riders, they might want that. But they do offer the hyper lens. Some other features that make the Armega unique. First of all, when you look at their foam, which is super comfortable, they have it actually perforated foam on the back. It does a great job, in my opinion, of sweat absorption. I think the foam on the Armega absorbs more sweat than any of the other goggles that are on the table. And on top of that, they have this gutter system that's actually between the face foam and the frame of the goggle. Well, it actually is the frame of the goggle. They have this gutter that comes around. So what the theory is behind that is that if you're a big sweater, you're getting super hot, you're sweating a lot, your sweat will be pushed through the face foam and then it goes into this gutter and drains off to the side of the goggle versus dripping into your eyes. 50mm strap, just like the 6.5. I think the Armega is one of the best looking goggles that is out there as well. The only con for me with the Armega, there's a couple. One, they do not offer a roll-off system for this. So if you want roll-offs, you have to get something like the Acuri from 100% that does have a roll-off system. I hope that is something that they're working on, but there are no roll-offs for the Armega. The other thing that I do want to point out that's not a big deal, it's more my personal thing, is the fit on the Armega does seem like it's a little bit narrow compared to the other goggles that are up here. So again, but we have our fit guarantee. So a little bit narrow on the fit, but aside from that, rock solid goggle. Now last but not least, we have the Airbrake from Oakley. Now the Airbrake is the OG of an injection molded optically correct lens. They came out with this goggle many, many years ago. And what's incredible to me is that they have done no updates to this thing, but it still remains one of the most popular goggles out there. Now, one of the cons to this goggle is the price point. You start out about $160 for a clear lens, all the way to north of $200 for some of the different color options with the Prism Lens, which we'll talk about. So it is a pricey goggle, but if you ask most riders out there that have one of these, they're gonna tell you, well worth the investment. I spent a lot of time in the Airbrake. I love this goggle. What I like about it is, one, that Plutonite lens, very impact resistant, so it's got great safety for the rider's eyes. But in my opinion, when you look through an Oakley lens, I think the clarity is top notch. I don't think it can be beat. It's not a huge difference between, say, the Airbrake lens and the Armega or the 6.5, but for whatever reason, when I look through one of their lenses, it just seems like everything's a little bit more crisp. So Oakley, they do a great job with that. Also, they do have their Prism lenses. So the Prism lens is just like with that hyper lens from Armega that are 100% I talked about. It's to help increase the contrast. So if you're riding, if you're on a track or maybe in the woods, it just helps you see the different shades of brown a little bit better, those subtleties, just to increase your vision. Now, for me personally, I really like the Prism lens. You know, a lot of cases, I'm not a big fan of some tinted lenses because I don't like the color that they produce when I look through it, but I really do like the Prism lenses. On top of that, you have the best lens changing system of all the goggles that are up here on the table today. And that's what surprised to me is that with Oakley being the first one to have a quick lens changing system, it's still the best today, so it is yet to be topped. Very simple, it's called switch lock. You have these two tabs, one on each side, you pull it down and out, pop the lens off, put the new one back on. It is that simple. And on top of that, with the Airbrake, just like with the 6.5, you can buy roll-offs separately and install those onto the outrigger, so you don't have to buy a completely separate goggle if you do want to set a roll-offs. Last little thing I do want to mention real quickly, because this is a common thing that you're probably going to see, is that some riders talk about how the Airbrake fogs up pretty easily. That is the truth. Like I said, in cooler temperatures, when I stop riding, or even in hot temperatures, if I stop riding and I'm wearing an Airbrake and I'm hot and sweaty, I've got to take these things off pretty quickly to prevent that lens from fogging up. The reason for that, I think, is that the face foam on the top, or excuse me, the foam around the top of the frame is just really thick. You just don't get a lot of airflow going through there. That's why I think they fog up easier. But what's nice, though, is that there's two different ways that you can combat that. Oakley has their dual vented lens, which is meant to help get more ventilation in there to help with fogging. They also have their mountain bike version, which instead of having this foam on the top, actually has more of a mesh screen, gets a lot more airflow going in there. So if you are doing slower technical riding, maybe you're riding cooler temps, that mountain bike option would be a really good choice. But that is it. That is our 2021 Goggle Buyer's Guide. What do you guys think? Did you like our top 5? Did we miss it? Is there a goggle that you think should be up here? We want to hear your thoughts, your reactions, so make sure to leave those questions and comments below. To see all these goggles, all the great colorways, and to pick up your next set, click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. Remember, orders over $75 ship free. If you guys like this buyer's guide, we have them for all the major categories, for all the different disciplines, for motocross, for adventure riding, for UTVs. Make sure to get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel and stay up to date. I'm Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.